Hello, my Astro family. This is Lada from astrolada.com with your May 2020 horoscopes. Yay, I'm back, feeling a bit better. And I have invited this month evolutionary astrologer Bryan to help me to lead you through the spiritual and karmic meaning of this month. And I will cover the more practical, mundane day-to-day influence of the month. And Bryan is the most spectacular astrologer I've seen. The first week we introduced him, he had 500 individual orders, and they have carried on like that ever since. So he broke the record with us, and you'll see why. He's amazing. So I'm very excited to present you the May 2020 horoscopes. And by the way, on May 16th, Bryan is making his first webinar for astrolada.com for our audience, which is only $63 down from $90, on past life astrology, how to read the past lives in your horoscope. And I think it will be our most successful webinar to date as well, because the topic is fascinating. So let's begin. Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, May 2020. Hello, Bryan. Can you lead us through the nodes, the last moment, the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn for Libra?
Hi, Lada. Yes, absolutely. Happy to. So yes, we're wrapping up the transiting nodes. They've been in Capricorn, South Node, and then the North Node's been in Cancer for the last year and a half. We've had the Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter in Capricorn too, so just going through a lot of Capricorn energy. But the nodes are about to change signs into fire and air, leaving earth and water and leaving fire and air. And that definitely will be a breath of fresh air, which I'm looking forward to. And the way I look at the nodes, the transiting nodes anyways, is collective karma. What I practice is evolutionary astrology. And evolutionary astrology presupposes that we are, older than our birth certificate suggests, very much uses the reincarnational model. And when looking at the transiting nodes, we're looking at the collective karma of humanity. And we've been trudging through the mud of Capricorn, trying to reach that Cancer energy. Now, of course, when you have dirt, earth energy, and water, it creates mud. That's, trudging through the mud. And it's been a difficult ride, but we're getting that breath of fresh air. So when looking at the transiting nodes in your own personal chart for you Libras out there, we can get critical clues in the unfolding journey of our own personal lives and how we can do our own small part within the collective and wring out as much evolutionary potential from these nodal signs as possible in our own lives. And for you Libras out there, especially Libra rising, but this, the energy of Libra, it'll resonate with many of you, whether you have a Libra sun or Libra moon. But it's been in your fourth house, the South Node in Capricorn in the fourth house. And wow, you've also had Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter in your fourth house too. So for the last couple of years, Pluto, the so-called god of hell, coming through this house, strengthened by Saturn in its own sign of Capricorn with the nodes, major transformation in the realm of the fourth house in your life. Of course, with every house, a lot of layers of meaning. One of them, house of home. Another one, house of family. So home, family, hearth, clan, also the house of inner psychology. So it says a lot about our own inner world too. So major transformation for you around home and family. And maybe literal changing of home, geographically. Seeing that a lot too. Transformation in what you call your home. Transformation in your own family dynamics. Now, Libra, the lover, ruled by Venus, the goddess of love, and is an innately relationship-oriented sign. Here we find an innately relationship-oriented house, the fourth house. You've been on the accelerated learning program in relationships over the last couple of years. You're already good at relationships, but you've been getting even better at them. Now, most of us are stuck at home right now. And I said it in my last video, you see a lot of memes out there. It's like, oh, after the quarantine, the divorce rates are going to skyrocket, because we all kind of feel trapped in our home. People are snippy at each other. Of course, we're dealing with money issues, and are we going to get food? And, of course, very stressful. And when we're feeling great levels of stress, our little gremlins come out to play, the darker sides of our personality, the negative emotions that we can experience on the scale of consciousness. They come out to play. And of course, with our loved ones, when we're trapped in a home, we already know how to push each other's buttons. They get pushed more easily now for many of us. So when looking at the South Node and all these really whopper of planets that have been going through this house for you, generally what happens is there's a heightening in the drama in the home. Okay. Now the danger with Libra, the relationship sign, the instinct or motivation, signs are about motivation, psychological motivation to build and maintain the bridge of rapport with other people. There can be a fear for Libra for dynamiting the bridge of rapport. So with the drama in the home and too much potentially self-sacrifice can lead to resentment. And of course, resentment leads to more pushing of buttons, as you can see how this can escalate. So we can get immersed in that very subjective psychological area, and it can get pretty hectic. Yeah. And the danger here is to kind of get eclipsed by that energy of home and family and the drama there. So there we look to what's the remedy, what's the medicine? We look to Cancer North Node. Cancer, the most sensitive sign in the entire zodiac. It's about nurturing, healing yourself, healing others, turning down the drama. It's like the archetype of the crab with Cancer, maybe taking some time to hide inside the shell of the crab, to lick your own wounds, take some quiet time. Okay? But ultimately, fundamentally, Cancer is about healing. Now, we can look to the house to help us look in a particular avenue for you that will be very nurturing to your soul, okay, karmically. Part of the remedy for you is the juxtaposition point between the 4th house, 10th house, house of career. It absolutely is the house of career. Some of us aren't working right now, which is true. But putting your awareness more in, yes, a career direction, you could say, but I like to give the 10th house a little bit more breathing room, call it the house of mission. Okay, when it comes to having a mission in the world, you have one. We all have a destiny. So putting your awareness less into the inward home stuff and more outward onto the world. 10th house is also about a relationship with the community. Now, for you Libra risings, really specifically, Cancer rules your 10th house, more than likely. So your destiny, your mission is that of a healer, okay, on some level. Don't mean you need to become a massage therapist, or a doctor, although those would be perfect for you. Even a counselor, because Libra is the counselor, so counselor/healer. But regardless of what your job description is and how you make your money, you're meant to be a healer in your daily walk of life. You're meant to reduce the pain and suffering of other individuals in your life, and that's beautiful, noble work. So bringing your attention more towards that big picture stuff and tapping more into your mission-oriented purpose to make a difference in the world with work that's really, really important to you. Yeah. And it may be a need for you to focus more on your job too. Money's kind of tight right now. That might be part of the more practical part of the equation, of course. And it's important to point out that be cautious about sacrificing your own needs for the sake of the family too much. Okay. It's like, get out there on stage, so to speak. And it might be creative vectors too, because Libra is sign of the artist as well, because people need you. Okay. People need you. And you also have halfway through the month, you have Mars in Pisces sextile the South Node too in the 6th house of service. So they kind of resonate with each other. 6th house, 10th house, both deal with work, career, mission, work that matters. And here Mars, the warrior in the sign of Pisces, the spiritual warrior. Wherever Mars is, we can develop our will and sharpen our courage. Okay. So developing more courage to get out there and roll up your sleeves and do more meaningful work that motivates you spiritually. That's Pisces. So the home perhaps eclipsing you somewhat, distracting you from the big picture stuff. Okay. So getting out there on the big stage, going more towards mission is the road of healing for you. And the more you heal and the more you reveal to other people, because the 10th house really is about the sea of people. You need an audience, even if it's an audience of one on Facebook Live, get out there, do work that matters for you. Okay. The more you do that, the more you'll raise your consciousness, the more you'll evolve, and the more you'll help everyone just by your energy that will radiate more purely and lovingly as you pass out band-aids. Some of those may be emotional band-aids too, but that's part of your cosmic job description. So focusing more outward instead of inward is really finding that balance point within. And at this point, let's turn the microphone over to you, Lada.
Thank you so much, Bryan. So correct. My husband is Libra rising, and for the past 2-3 years, he's been stuck with crying babies and diapers at home, helping me because we need to stay at home. I can't do it alone. And this Capricorn 4th house energy has been suffocating him, but he's been plowing like a soldier, not complaining like the Capricorn way about his responsibilities at home. And only now, and I was like, this North Node in the 10th house should awaken in him, like what career, what he wants to do. And it's like only now, before it's about to leave its sign, he discovered what he's passionate about, and he is, he started working from home again, but it's something that he's putting himself out there. He's great at it, and I'm looking at him like, wow, where were you hiding that? So this is truly happening. And I was like, why is this North Node not working? But there was too much energy in this 4th house, too many planets till now. They're all pulling away from the focus on the 10th house. And now when Mars went out, all those planets, Saturn, and finally this North Node can start shining for the Libras in the 10th house and to manifest and to give. So yeah, squeeze the last of it as much as you can in May while it's changing. It's usually strongest while it's changing. And I'm going to carry on with the description of the May energies because there's so many planets going retrograde. Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, they rule almost half of your horoscope. And this is quite relevant and quite logical because we're starting to go back to our jobs, our previous life, ways of life. Some of us from the start of May, some of us from the middle, some of us towards the end. But all those retrograde energies are saying, okay, redo, return, go back to, and a lot of people who try to get back to some semblance of how they used to live before. But again, as I've been saying in all the videos, you can't go exactly on the same path back because even planets, when they move retrograde, they make a loop. They don't go exactly backwards. And so you have a chance to re-examine what's been happening through different eyes, alternative ways, and to reevaluate it, especially because Venus, the planet that rules you, Libra, is going retrograde in your 9th house of beliefs and how you perceive reality and what you make out of it. And a lot of Libras will kind of have some kind of deep questioning that's happening on a spiritual level about the current reality and about the what you've received of information, how it fits into your belief system and your not only belief system, but your interpretation of world events and all of this. So a lot of Libras will start questioning that. I think they'll deepen because the 9th house, when planet goes retrograde there, a person becomes more deeply philosophical. And because Libra's beliefs have been some kind of shaken, I think everyone's beliefs and worldview has been shaken, but for Libra, currently, because Venus will go retrograde in their 9th house, they're so desperately seeking and they'll want over the next couple of months to return to this equilibrium of seeing the world as a balance, as a fair place, as one where you know, not someone dominates another, or where someone is a victim, or where someone is, where you're out of control, because Venus in retrograde in Libra's ninth house of worldview and beliefs will try to make you find this balance again in what you believe, to by questioning first, by re-examining. But on a more material level, it can indicate ninth houses restarting some educational course, going back to university, higher knowledge of some sort, or questioning the matter, that what you're studying now, questioning if you're already on some line of course of studies. Venus going retrograde might ask yourself, is that the right subject I want to study? Maybe I need to add something else, or maybe I need to revise, or maybe I need to even change the direction of my studies and course, you know. Also, it can mean going to revise some old knowledge. Maybe you've bought some crash courses that you never completed, some webinars, some seminars, or maybe you were meant to go on some seminar to learn something, but it was postponed, and now you can go back and do it. Ninth house is also trips abroad and foreign travel. Venus retrograde there, for some of you, can mean, oh, your trip was postponed, now you can pick it up and do it. But it's something that you've already planned, that you know about. Maybe you can start again at it. But it can also mean the ninth house is foreign, is foreign lands, and sorry, not only foreign lands, but foreign residence, like relocation, like when you move from another, to live from one country to another. So some of you might be picking up such processes again, or some of you might, if you're applying for visas or anything to do to reside in a foreign place, for example, you might have to fix something, to edit, to redo it, to send extra documents of some sort. If you're doing some legal matters, you might be required again to fill in some extra information and documents, or you might be just revising for exams in university for studies and such matters. Okay. Then what you're gonna have, and it can also mean some teaching projects, having to work extra hard on some teaching project or some import-export deal. But the retrograde period is when things can go wrong, or when things require 3 times more efforts, more concentration. So, you know, you have to be more careful with such matters. And you can see the results and the fruits of anything to do with import, exports, foreign business, travel, higher education. You're going to see it at the end, when Venus starts moving direct. But the hard work is during the retrograde period. And it is, Venus in the ninth house is quite lucky, to be honest, because ninth house is considered a lucky house. Venus is you, because Venus rules you. So I think you will start questioning your reality, your belief system, but at the same time, the ultimate goal of Venus after the retrograde period in the ninth house is that it will create a more, not only more harmonious belief systems for you, but more luck in your life. So I think it's actually, even though it's retrograde, I think it's going to be a more lucky period for Libras than normal. Then Saturn is going retrograde in your 5th house. And that's the first time in 30 years that it's going retrograde in your 5th house, just for a couple of months. And then in 2021 and 22, it will go 2 more times retrograde in your 5th house. So it's time to start questioning your love life and relationships. Are you giving too much when it comes to affection and romance? Maybe time to build up some walls, so some self-protection. Or maybe are you, 5th house is your creations. Some of you, while Saturn transits the 5th house, can try and turn a hobby or natural talent that you're good at into work, into business, to try to manifest it materially. And the retrograde period can indicate their hard work of starting to make this happen, a passion of yours turning it into work and putting the extra efforts. Saturn in the 5th house, it's best to avoid risks, especially with speculation deals, fast money and such kind of speculative matters. You know, Saturn only allows for slow, you know, if you're developing a business, for example, don't expect to immediately have fast returns. It's going to take probably 2-3 years to integrate those things. Also, it can indicate revising old love life, or revising old, getting in touch with people from the past that you're emotionally connected in some way. It can indicate children as well, things becoming more demanding with your children, things becoming, needing to put some boundaries, needing to structure their lives and their routines more, needing to become, how do I say, more disciplinarian even with your children. Sometimes your children needing a lot more of your support and energy and efforts put into their, because they need that from you. Okay, and also your creative processes might demand a lot more attention and order and organization as well. But that's, that's just for a couple of months. You're gonna feel this way more into 2021. And then Jupiter is going retrograde in your fourth house. So matters connected to your fourth house, like home, like family, they might, first of all, slow down. Like if you're trying to buy a property or something, it might be slowed down, it might need to be revised. Or you're trying to sell your property, you might need to fix it to make it look better first a little bit. Or it might be that if you've been before in the process of doing those things, but you were interrupted, you'll go back to those and complete them during the retrograde period. But usually it's when there is a retrograde planet in the fourth house, you revisit the past, your family history, you reconnect with family members as well. And if you can make like the harder work when it comes to anything fourth house, home, family, that you're trying to change to, and something from the past can come back to you as well. Anyway, there's a lot more things that are happening, but it's just, we're going to make this video too long. So these are some of the major issues you'll be dealing with. But I think the most important is the notes, because that's the soul, spirit, the soul and the spirit's goal. And if you focus on that, all these other things are like noise. There's like daily lessons and life just going on anyway. But yeah, I hope that Bryan will join us next month to look at the nodes changing signs and what it means for you for the next year and a half, and what is the fastest evolutionary path for you for your growth as well for the next year and a half.
Yeah,
So thank you so much, Bryan.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I hope you join us in May the 16th for a 4-hour webinar by Bryan on the astrology of past lifetimes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.